Well, folks, here we are again on the track. This time I'm back at Blackstone again, well, still actually, but I didn't put this in my video on the actual site of the castle because it didn't really fit. It's a bit negative really, but up on top I found some stuff that's quite annoying, and I'm just going to put it down on video because, you know, I think something should be done about it, and I do know that certain people who are influential do watch these videos, so let's have a go. Let's see what T-Rox is on his soapbox about this time. Well, here we are, folks. We're cruising into the hill that the old Blackstone Castle used to be on. Blackstone Hill, as it's known, but also used to be called Pot Hill. That reservoir's cut into the old Abergildy coal seams at the back there. And what we're looking at is that little piece that's disappeared underneath us because there's some stuff going on there I'm not real happy about. You can see this area's somewhat rurally developed. It's got some acreages on it. But yeah, let's just flick around a bit and have a look and see what's going on here. So here's the site. If we look down here, you can see a container sitting there next to that sandy patch. You'll see more of that container and all those logs there, and more importantly to me is a 130-year-old brick wall there that's being destroyed. So let's get to look at some of the video I took on the site. That's the site there of the old castle. I thought I'd move forward a bit so you can get this in perspective. There's people living right next to this, and that may be part of the problem. Well, folks, what are we talking about? Well, I'm talking about this to a large degree. This is a 130-year-old piece of Ipswich's history.
Great Scott!
It's the only piece of this building that's recognisable apart from a set of steps. And it's being treated very, very poorly by whoever is in charge of this land. And ultimately, that's the council.
If you can't trust the governments of the world, then who can you trust?
Really, ultimately, it's the council. Might be private property, don't know. I didn't walk over a fence. So here it is. These are Z purlons just chucked here, and these trees, all these logs here. Now, when I saw these logs, I thought, gee, I wonder where these have come from, because there's a lot of them here. There's about, I reckon there'd be 50 of them here. They're all sawn, been sawn in, you know, reasonable recent time, probably in the last 10 years or so. And they're just everywhere. They're all over the place. You can see them from the satellite photography. And I thought, well, sorry about the shadow in the photo there. What muppet would just throw all this stuff up here and just leave it in the bush and just hope it goes away? Well, I don't know who it is, but it's wrong. This is a historical site. It's also a recreational site. And there's some other things being done up here that are really very wrong. That's a 130-year-old wall. That's a fiberglass 20-foot container. Just rubbish. It's completely destroyed, and it's just sitting here. It's going to biodegrade away into the landscape. But it gets worse. So let's go over and have a look. I just thought I'd show you this, by the way. This is where, obviously, a piece of very heavy machinery has been dragged through the conglomerate up here. Nice view of the conglomerate. Lovely colours and everything. Over here we have a dump of chemicals sitting in, 5-gallon containers. A whole bunch of garbage, just absolute garbage lying around here. And you see that black soil on the other side of this container?
Oh, I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
You got to see that stuff. It's something else. So here's, a lovely, someone's really caring for this land. Well, I remember when I used to live at Carolee years ago, I had a noxious weed growing in my front yard. One weed. And the Moreton Shire Council wanted to fine me over it. I can't think how many council ordinance this must break, because that black soil there is contaminated. It stinks. It's come from a power station or something like that, and it's just being pushed down the side of the hill. Now, there's those drums. Goodness knows what chemicals are in that. I really don't know. But the side of that hill is Bundamba Creek. So whatever chemicals are in that soil, that contaminated soil, is going to leach into Bundamba Creek and end up, all the little fishies and all the little froggies down there. It's going to make them sick. Now, you got to be really careful what you do in the headwaters of things like this. It can make a big, big difference. Let's have a look at that soil. Here it is here. There's some junk just sitting there, you know, biodegrade eventually. Just push down the hill. A lot of it, by the way, not a small amount. And you might notice an office chair down there. And if you look carefully, just to the left of the office chair, there's a shopping trolley. A shopping trolley? There wouldn't be a shopping centre within 10 kilometres of here. So this has just been pushed off the side of the hill here, and it's destroying the countryside. Why would this be being done? No, I'm a fairly good advocate of private property, but this is a culturally significant site for the white population of Ipswich. It's probably also a culturally significant site for the Aboriginal population of Ipswich. Every hilltop is. Frankly, everywhere is. Correctly so. So, come on, really. If you know anyone in the council, give them a call. Ipswich Council. I don't live in Ipswich. It's none of my business. I get that. Now, here's the other side. There's a nice cutting here. I was interested in the geology, but then I started looking up, and this is the people who look after the reservoir. That's a very old fence there, because there's quite a cliff on the other side of this, 20, 30 yards over. Sorry, metres. Got to stop doing that. And so there's been a fence here obviously for years. There's about a 50-year-old piece of concrete. You can see the old wire that was rusted into that concrete. They just put the new wire in and wire tied it into the old wire. What sort of half-assed stuff is that? Crazy. Again, I'm quite sure the council in Ipswich has the resources, whether it has the willpower, but it certainly has the resources. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Anyway, over here, we'll whiz back to the other side and have a closer look at that wall, because this is made out of some of those 60,000 handmade Ipswich bricks from the 1890s. Here they are. And it's been smashed to hell by the current people who are in control of this land. You can see where machinery has just backed into it and hit it. Look at these beautiful bricks. You can see the indentations in there when people handle them. Right? And this bit down the bottom is missing because something's backed into it, smashed it away. This needs to be protected. It needs to be looked after and treated as importantly as it is. But, for some reason, no one's given a crap. And I think that's wrong, because the history of Ipswich is very important. It's one of the more historical parts of Brisbane. If you go and watch Rob's video on the history of Ipswich, you'll get a good illustration of that. So let's just have a look and see what T-Rox thinks can be done about this. It's all my opinion, I might add, but let's see. Well, folks, here we are down in Jones Street. This is the property that has the road in it. You notice it's got some lovely sea containers there. Amazing stuff. This is it in 2007. Two things. Trees, no sea containers. What do we got up on top of the hill? Bunch of trees. Not saying anything. So who's responsible for this? Well, ultimately this lot, the Ipswich Council. This is in 2022. I presume it hasn't changed that much. I've heard they've had some shenanigans going on up there recently, so let's see what happens. But here are T-Rox, we haven't got the money, we can't afford. I don't believe a word of it.
Lighting up a new dawn for Ipswich. In daylight, number 1 Nicholas Street towers over the CBD. $250 million has been spent, half of that on council's new headquarters.
I am a little disappointed.
So there you go, folks. It's not about contaminating an important creek or remembering a dude like this. He had a good life, contributed some stuff to Ipswich, no question of it, but, in the end, he had a good life. Or an old house like this, it's just bricks and mortar, although it was pretty awesome. It's a shame it's not still there, but c'est la vie. It's really about remembering these guys, because it was their labour that built all of that. It was their sweat and their blood in many cases. And these guys, that's what it's about. So come on, council, tidy that side up, preserve it. It deserves it. Well, folks, here we are, heading back to the vehicle again. And of course, thank you very much for watching. You've got this far, you've watched the video. Thank you for subscribing. I see all you new subscribers. Fantastic. I just love it. Makes this channel really work. And if you know anyone who you think their life might be slightly improved by listening to my ramblings, please send them this way. It really is good to see you guys come on board. Anyway, you know what I'm going to say. Keep rocking. T-Rocks out.
Remember, you better tune in next week to the show, because if you don't, I'll come round to your house and I'll rip your bloody ass.